Welcome to the PastGlimpse Photos channel.
Subscribe to the channel and like the video. Step back to 1935 on Doyers Street in Manhattan, captured from under the old elevated train tracks. This iconic view of Chinatown, with its bustling sidewalks and vintage cars, shows a New York City that feels both familiar and worlds away. The dramatic shadows from the L above paint a classic, gritty scene from a bygone era.
Step back to the early 20th century with this photograph of George A. Gray and his wife aboard their Wright biplane. They're poised on a sandy field, ready for their first flight, capturing a moment of adventure and pioneering spirit.
Step back to the early 20th century with this photograph of a double-decker electric bus labeled Electrobus, LC5768. The snowy streets and winter attire of the passengers paint a vivid picture of a bustling urban environment during a cold winter day. Imagine the 1930s beach, an engineer unveiling his personal rocket belt. This whimsical device perfectly captures the spirit of the time. It was a bold, if often comical, dream of personal flight in the age before Sputnik.
During World War I, women became the crucial backbone of the home front. These munitionettes worked tirelessly in factories, handling explosive shells and ammunition. Their dangerous labor was essential to victory, forever redefining their role in the industrial world. Times Square, 1944. The home front rallying cry for the fifth war loan. Americans bought billions in bonds, tracked by displays like this giant cash register. Every dollar raised was a critical act of patriotism, funding the Allied war machine. August 14, 1945. The immediate aftermath of VJ Day. After years of struggle, millions flooded the streets, celebrating the end of World War II. The confetti and the exhausted citizens capture the profound sense of relief that swept across the nation.
A devastating image from World War II. These children stare out from behind the barbed wire of a relocation camp. The sign clearly warns, talking through the wire is forbidden under threat of execution. Their somber faces are a chilling reminder of the war's innocent victims.
During the London Blitz, the underground became the city's largest bomb shelter. Thousands sought refuge here nightly, sleeping side by side on the tracks and platforms. This image captures the quiet, determined resilience of Londoners enduring the nightly German terror. This scene captures the reality of early 20th century public health. As progressive ideals spread, simple medical checks became common in schools. With rudimentary tools, a matron examines a child's teeth, a critical step in fighting infectious diseases and promoting basic childhood health. January in Belarus, on the ravaged Eastern Front. Even after total destruction, life found a way. Two women stand in the freezing snow, utilizing the remnants of a brick stove to cook a meal. This is the tenacity of survival amidst the brutal reality of war. This quintessentially British street party captured the spirit of post-war relief. In 1945, neighborhoods pushed tables together, celebrating VE Day and sharing what they had. A moment of collective joy, marking the end of rationing and the hopeful return to peace. This dizzying array of wires is an early 20th century central telephone exchange. Before automation, the infrastructure of communication was a physical maze. Formally dressed technicians manually built and maintained the vast network, connecting the world one wire at a time. Before the age of automation, laundry was heavy, all-day labor. This mother and child are using a hand-cranked wringer to squeeze water from the clothes. It's a perfect visual of the physical work required by homemakers, contrasted sharply with modern convenience.
This resourceful vendor from the early 20th century needed no stall or cart. She simply wore her entire inventory of scarves and handkerchiefs like a vibrant skirt. This ingenious method of display was common among rural hawkers, maximizing both visibility and easy transport of her goods.
This peculiar image shows the rigorous cold therapy prescribed at a Soviet tuberculosis sanatorium. Children were bundled in heavy quilts and exposed to constant fresh air, even in winter. Doctors believed this extreme exposure strengthened the immune system, representing a bizarre historical treatment for TB.
The ultimate price of failure on the Eastern Front. This endless column of German soldiers captured by the Red Army marches through the mud. It symbolizes the sheer scale of defeat for the Axis powers and the massive transfer of POWs to Soviet labor camps.
In the face of early naval technology, this sailor, wearing a torpedo cap, emerges from the cramped, wet hatch of a submarine or boat. It perfectly captures the dangerous, gritty life of men who pioneered underwater warfare in the early 20th century. This is the deadly simplicity of a World War I naval mine. These three sailors stand with the massive horn-covered weapon, which was deployed by the thousands. These indiscriminate devices were a constant, hidden threat, capable of sinking both warships and civilian vessels. This lit clos, or closed bed, was essential furniture in rural Brittany, France. Enclosed sleeping compartments like this were designed to maximize space and provide vital warmth. They offered protection from cold drafts and small animals, illustrating a unique solution to centuries of harsh rural life. This ingenious image captures the transition to electrification in the early 20th century. Linemen stand atop a horse-drawn mobile lift, servicing the overhead power lines. It's a striking visual of how old-world technology was adapted to build the infrastructure of the future. This historical invention is the 1930s baby cage. Driven by the belief that fresh air was crucial, urban parents in crowded cities used these wire enclosures outside apartment windows. The goal was simple: to give city babies sunlight, making this a bizarre yet serious solution to urban health.
This massive brick and iron structure is an industrial furnace or boiler from the early 20th century. A worker stoking the fire with coal highlights the immense physical labor needed to power America's early factories and cities. This machinery was the muscle of the industrial age.
This bizarre street scene captures a traveling one-man band in a post-war European city. The drummer, the trumpeter, and the children performing with pans, all under the curious gaze of a goat figure, showed the resilience of street entertainers trying to bring joy amidst scarcity. Even into the mid-20th century, many communities relied on communal water sources for laundry. These women are washing in a river or spring, using traditional methods and heavy wooden tools to beat the dirt out. This image is a testament to the sheer physical effort required by pre-industrial labor. This portrait of three women carrying their weekly laundry captures the immense labor of pre-modern life. Balancing heavy baskets and metal buckets on their heads and in their hands, they illustrate the sheer physical stamina required just to manage domestic chores in many rural European communities. This remarkable image captures two women in the traditional costume of northern Spain, specifically the region of León. These massive, accordion-pleated mantles were often black, providing both warmth and deep privacy. They represent a distinctive and formal style of traditional dress, rarely seen by the mid-20th century.
This stunning portrait features two women wearing the elaborate folk costumes of rural Europe, likely from a Slavic region in the late 19th century. The intricate embroidery, heavy textiles, and large ornate headwear represent a proud tradition reserved only for special ceremonies and festivals of the time.
This remarkable photo captures the ingenious pre-modern solution to traffic control. Standing inside a striped, elevated platform, the officer directed traffic before electronic signals were widespread. It's a striking visual of early urban infrastructure and the personal effort required to manage the rise of the automobile.
This is the furious pace of wartime shipbuilding. These massive hulls belonged to submarines under construction, likely during World War II. The solitary worker, dwarfed by the scale of the metal, captures the industrial might of the war machine, which relied on rapid, round-the-clock assembly lines.
This remarkable photo captures a traditional yet ingenious fishing method still practiced in parts of Asia. Perched high above the water on fragile-looking wooden stilts, the solitary fisherman casts his line. This quiet, ancient approach represents the resourcefulness of coastal cultures and their patience with the sea.
This curious machine is an early 20th century prototype for a directional microphone or acoustic rangefinder. The egg-shaped shield helped focus sound waves, allowing the operator to locate aircraft or submarines. It's a powerful visual of the rudimentary yet ingenious technology used before the age of radar.
This lethal weapon is a high-caliber flak cannon, an anti-aircraft gun used by German forces during World War II. Designed for rapid fire against low-flying planes, the gun and its ready-stacked ammunition highlight the intense focus on air defense that shaped the European theater of the war. Berlin, 1945. This rubble marks the ruins of the famed Adlon Hotel, once Europe's most luxurious destination. The destruction along the street shows the catastrophic toll the Battle of Berlin took on the city, symbolizing the utter collapse of the Nazi regime and the end of World War II.
This stark image shows a massive German factory floor dedicated to producing Messerschmitt fighter planes during World War II. The seemingly endless row of fuselages, engines prepped for installation, and dedicated workers captures the staggering industrial scale of the German war effort and its focus on air superiority.
This stark image captures German military forces moving through a rural village on the Eastern Front in the summer of 1941. The contrast between the simple, traditional wooden farmhouses and the camouflaged military vehicles highlights the shock of invasion as the modern war machine rolled into the Soviet interior.
This collection of artifacts represents the debris left behind after the collapse of the German military in 1945. The display features infantry assault badges and numerous dog tags, or Erkennungsmarke. These items, often found by metal detectorists, are grim, tangible reminders of the scale of the war's end.
This surprising photo shows a German soldier utilizing World War I technology during World War II, a communications method based entirely on carrier pigeons. The soldier carries a backpack with several birds ready for deployment, highlighting how low-tech, reliable methods were still essential when modern radio communications failed on the battlefield. This intimate moment was captured during the street fighting of World War II. A civilian woman in a simple dress pours water from a pitcher to refill a soldier's canteen on the ground. Surrounded by rubble and abandoned gear, this simple act of aid highlights the essential, everyday kindness that existed even in the heart of combat.
This charming image captures two young girls in their wide-brimmed hats driving a small, open-air car, likely a cycle car or early microcar in the 1920s. The photo perfectly encapsulates the emerging freedom of the Jazz Age, where new technology and a playful spirit defined the younger generation.